Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome to my channel. This is the Sheetload for May 2023. At the top of the Sheetload are two hashtags that you can use to share your creations on social media. We have a whole collaboration team that posts here on YouTube and Instagram. You can use a hashtag, but they're a little unreliable these days, so we also have a playlist in the description down below. The Sheetload is free to everybody. You just have to go to Call Me Crafty Owl's YouTube channel to get your copy. It has all the cutting directions, everything you need to make a sheetload of cards. This month, the Sheetload makes 12 cards, which is awesome. Now, I am making this a very scrappy month. I have a huge box of scraps that I really want to work through. I had organized it at the first of the year, but can you believe it? This is May. We're 5 months in. Well, 4 full months in. This is the 5th month. And yes, I have all these scraps. So here's what I'm going to do. I start separating them kind of by color story, if you will. And I even found some like cut aparts. If you don't use printables, you don't have to, but these are just printables that I had, and I was thinking, oh, those could work for ephemera. Or I have these birds that I've really been wanting to use. I'd printed them up, never used them, so they're going to be on a lot of my cards today, along with some other scraps from a card kit. You could use cut aparts from patterned paper if you don't have printables. Okay, all right, let's get into this. So basically what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to do tearing. So I have this ruler from the Dollar Tree. It's super fancy. It's a metal ruler. I actually truly love it. And it's 1 inch wide. So I know when I lay it down on my paper, if I'm just lay it to one edge and tear on the other edge like this, that my strip will be 1 inch wide. So it's a way of measuring without measuring. The day that I made this Sheetload, I just didn't feel like being fussy. I wanted to just kind of lose myself in some card making, bust through my scraps, and I really just didn't feel drawn, even though I have amazing paper collections and so much product in my room. I just wanted to get scrappy, you guys. So that's what I did. I did no measuring in this video at all. You know, I just kind of did intuitive card making. Okay, so I picked 5 patterns that went together and made 3 stacks of 5 patterns. There's 4 strips of each pattern, okay? Because I'm making 4 cards, and because I'm making 5 by 7, I needed 5 different patterns. If you didn't have 5 different patterns, I'm sure you could do it with less, but basically I need 5 1-inch strips to work my way up the card. Now, I did this in a super simple way. I found one combination that I liked. Here I'm putting the glue on the strip, but when you do that, you're kind of guessing how long, because this is a 5 by 7 inches is. It is easier, which I'll show you next, to just put the glue directly onto the card base. Now, for my top strip, I actually glued it down first, and then I glued this next strip down. So see how there's a little less than 1 inch up there at the top? At least I felt like there would be. I decided to glue that down first, and then I glued a strip on top of it to cover that last piece. And I did that for all of my cards. I just felt like it would be the most balanced without having to trim anything. I didn't, except for the edges. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut the edges. So I just open up the card and snip off the edges. If it's a super tiny piece, it goes in the trash. If it's a long piece, I'm keeping it. I did a live video on Saturday on my channel where I made snippet rolls and twisted tangles, and I have a card video coming up on my channel this month where I'm making a whole bunch of cards. I made 20 cards from my scraps. So It's just kind of where my head's been out. You know, I need to clean out my scrap box before cutting into more paper. So here you'll see I am just gluing right onto the paper and then putting my strip on it. Now you could have all your strips going off to one edge. You could butt them up so that they're just perfectly, if you want to like save the paper. But for me, I just wanted to be quick, and I knew I had to trim off the edges anyways, and I wasn't trying to, you know, maximize my scraps at this point. This is maximizing my scraps. So I did that for all of my card bases. I took my printed images and I matted those. Again, I didn't measure. I just glued my images on paper and cut around them. I didn't worry about them being perfect. I didn't worry about the lines being straight. I mean, on collage cards like these, it's quite all right if they're not, in my opinion. Now, I do love the sketch. So basically what I did was I turned it on its side, and then I really love that pattern paper there on the side. Instead of pattern paper though, for these cards, I did choose ribbon. So for some of the cards, I put it off on the side just like the sketch. Here I know that I have 4 cards that will all need the same. So I'm just cutting all 4 pieces of my lace from that first one. And it'll work out perfectly for all 4 of those cards. I did pull in like different lace and things for each of the 3 designs. So I basically kind of have like 3 color stories and 4 of those 3. Oh gosh, that was confusing. You get me. I'm so glad you guys get me. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this take on the Sheetload, and that it inspires you to maybe love your stash, have a pause on add to cart, and get in there and use those scraps and come up with something different. Maybe this is completely different than the kind of card making you're used to doing. That's awesome. So yeah, I put the strip below on one of them. I didn't put it at all. I put a sentiment instead on others. So I really did kind of change them up. This is the first ones. These images are from Dreams, etc. They're from a card kit, but you can buy the images separately, the printables. See, on this one, the ribbon and lace just wasn't going with it. So instead, I grabbed these random sentiments from my stash, which were also in my scrap bin, and I used those instead. And I really love these images of these birds. I think those are fabulous. And then here's some more. These are a lot of like peacocks and things. And that's a Dollar Tree lace down there. Again, super fancy. Definitely go check out the collab team on YouTube and Instagram. Go over to Call Me Crafty Owl, pick up your Sheetload for May, and make sure if you're sharing on social media to use the hashtags at the top of the sheet. Call Me Crafty Owl has a membership to her channel, which is wonderful. You can get all past Sheetloads and a printable. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel, watching this video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!